I love Maids. I love maid cafes even more, so when I heard that a maid cafe Tycoon with a really cute pixel art style was coming out soon, you know I had to check it out immediately. Hi there, my name is Yuru, and Maze of Storm literally just came out fresh from the oven, and as gamers with chronic shopping addictions, we deserve to know if a game's worth our time and money. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Also, just to clarify, I was not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. The gameplay mainly consists of recruiting various types of maids, which are diversified through 4 different appearance types: cute, elegant, sexy, and chic, and then matching them with incoming customers as they will ask for different types of maids, depending on the day. But even if you have the right type of maid, there are other requirements too, such as personalities, which are sorted into 3 categories, being gentle, cheerful, and playful. This is completely a numbers game, as it's almost entirely dependent on RNG and the tier of the particular maid, which are also divided into 4 tiers, being silver, gold, VIP gold, and lastly rainbow tier. At least that's what I think it's called, since I still couldn't find the in-game name. This can be improved with training, however, it will cost a lot, so you have to grind for it. Which is good honestly, because if not, everything would get so boring so quickly. And I genuinely need people to understand that not all grinding is made the same, therefore aren't bad. The maids also have a stamina mechanic, which lowers each of their personality numbers the more their stamina decreases, which creates some balance between trying to make the cafe more popular and having high energy maids that help better to match the customers. Since when the customer leaves, you can either restore some of the stamina or gain fans. There are also bonus cards at the start of every opening, which is a nice touch. The cafe begins with 6 tables under our management, which is the maximum amount of tables. I found this quite odd, as in most games, we are in charge of further developing and expanding the shop, rather than starting out with a max. It doesn't necessarily ruin the game or anything, but it does take away from the time needed to invest into the cafe a bit in my opinion. Other than the maids, of course. The cafe itself can be customized, although I don't expect much, as its current state is very minimal, and for players that enjoy customizing to the fullest like myself, it will leave you a bit disappointed. The gameplay loop includes helping the maids throughout the time frame by performing various minigames such as card matching, omurice sketchup drawings, photo taking, etc. My only problem is only with the apology one, as the keyboard mashing doesn't register properly, which in return makes you fail like 80% of the time. Never mind y'all, they actually patched this while I was writing this, which just goes to show how quick the dev is at listening to feedback. But to wrap up the gameplay, basically think of it as if Tohoi Izakaya and the Cabaret minigame from Yakuza 0 had a child together. It honestly does a wonderful job at combining the gameplay of the cabaret and mixing seamlessly into the aesthetics of a maid cafe, while also taking aspects of Tohoi Izakaya like the map and energy for resource game mechanics. It is very satisfying to say the least, especially seeing the numbers go up when battling other maid cafes, which are the main rivalries and obstacles of the game. On that note, however, I don't really like how the daily menu operates, as you have to manually choose the quantities of the items, which either will leave you with wasted food and ingredients, or not making enough to the wishes of the RNG gods of the day. Not only is this kinda annoying, but it doesn't really make sense either, as most maid cafes have a small kitchen, or a food preparation area. The game even features one, but anyways. The map is definitely a bit small with nothing much to do in my opinion, and other areas later in the game feel pointless as there's literally nothing to do after the story event around the area is finished. There's not a lot of side quests to do either, which brings me to the biggest problem of the game for me. As a huge RPG and Skyrim side quest maxer, I feel like if there were more things to do after work, like maybe occasional parties with the staff, playing games other than the gachapon and the singular crane game, cleaning up at home, or like if there was a home to go back to at least, so you would be able to decorate it as well as getting clothes for your character, it would definitely help to diversify every once in a while, because it does start feeling a bit stagnant after a while and just starts feeling the same. The pixel art is really nice and pretty to look at, and I think it's definitely one of the strong suits of the game. The animations are really fluid and full of life, and the color palette is really tasteful as well. All in all, it just creates a wholehearted and cozy feeling around the game. I feel like a lot of the new upcoming simulation games just look so cheap and haphazardly put together, especially when it comes to maid simulations, because there's just not a lot of games to play. So although saying that the art style is one of the strong suits out loud makes it feel like it's the bare minimum, I still think it sets itself as a great example for the upcoming games that feature maids. And I'm really happy with the dev as well, because it's so clear that this was a passion project. Their love for maids and anime culture really can be seen through every interaction and dialogue, and while we're on the topic, I really enjoy the dialogues and the amount of references to anime, gaming, and maid culture. It definitely feels rewarding when you get the little references just thrown everywhere, and even if you don't get it, it doesn't take away from the humor at all. I did encounter a few bugs, one of which was a side quest softlock. However, just after 5 to 6 hours, it was all patched, so we can expect frequent updates and bug fixes as well as dev listening to the player base. The main story is honestly super cute and relaxing. Now to be fair, it's not the most in-depth or profound story at all, so don't go to it expecting a masterpiece, but in terms of slice of life and moe, this is so peak. And the OST does a wonderful job at making it feel more like it to the fullest too. It's super bright and upbeat, creating such a feel-good aura while playing. I do have to warn that there will be cringe moments sometimes, but we just have to accept it when it comes to these types of games. But I think they would have benefited from having a relationship meter or something like social links like Persona with all the characters, or just having the ability to hang out with them every once in a while, besides the storylines, and maybe even dating or giving them gifts. But what the game has is serviceable enough, and isn't bad overall. And I really like the characters too, especially Belle's backstory, because it was honestly really refreshing to see, which I won't be spoiling. And although her character design is a bit more basic compared to the others, it fits into her being an ultimate dere even more in this case, I think. And since she is the first main character we meet, she ends up feeling like a girl next door type of character. Bora is also such a cute character in my opinion. Aside from her having the same dream as me, being an artist and all, I like Danderes a lot. And I think they're so underappreciated. She is a bit more cliche and some of her character events are low-key cringe, but I like her nonetheless. Karen, aside from the fact that her name is literally Karen. Introduction, my name is Karen. Oh my gosh, she's Karen! No, why is her name Karen? Why is her name Karen? Why is her name Karen? Oh my god. Can I change her name? I swear to god. Is also quite the charmer, especially with her character design. But overall, the caring yet strong types will never get old. And I won't get into the other main cast as their characters cannot be explained without spoilers. And that was pretty much it. I didn't want to spoil anything since it is quite a short game, with a maximum of 30 hours of leisure play, with the events combined. And although I definitely would have liked to see more content within the game, overall I think the game does a wonderful job at making it feel as cozy as possible, while still having a good amount of challenge, and a reason to progress further. So if you're a dedicated fan of Maids or management simulators, I feel like you would enjoy this thoroughly nonetheless. But if you aren't a fan of Maids, then I think you can skip this title entirely. It is currently on sale as an introduction, so definitely check it out if you like Maids. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye!